Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Hujambo msikilizaji wetu, hii ni Radio Fadhila ikikutangazia kutoka Masasi, Tanzania. Tunakuletea kipindi cha Freedom Pioneers of Africa. Kukuletea hayo utakuwa na mimi mtangazaji wako Edwin Mpokasye. Matangazo yetu haya yatakujia kwa lugha mbili, ya Kiingereza na Kiswahili.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Na wiki hii tupo katika episodi ya 8 ambapo tutasikia habari za Bwana Arnold Nyendwa wa Afnon. Kukuletea hayo ni mimi mtangazaji wako Edwin Mpokasye kutoka hapa Radio Fadhila. Inakutangazia kutoka mjini Masasi, mkoani Mtwara, Tanzania. Nikutakie usikizi mwema.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Wabunifu wa jamii mahalia wanakutana na Global Connectors kuona ni kwa jinsi gani wanaweza kuboresha mawazo yao kwa fursa kubwa. Tutasikia kutoka kwa mbunifu halisi wa Afrika ambaye amebuni jiko kwa kutumia vyuma kuwasaidia wale wanaoishi na tatizo la kupumua, akihamasika na jamii iliyosahaulika nchini Zambia. Nchini Zambia, 55% ya Wazambia wanaishi huko vijijini. Zambia inaongoza kwa vifo na namba 4 ina tatizo la kupumua kwa kiwango cha chini kama maambukizi. Upishi kwa nchi za chini ya jangwa la Sahara barani Afrika ina uchumi mkubwa kwa kuwa wanakumbwa na tatizo na kazi za nyumbani. Kuna uwezekano mkubwa kukumbana na moshi unaotokana na kuni katika nchi za jangwa chini ya Sahara. Kunatakiwa ufumbuzi wa haraka kupunguza moshi wa kuni kwa watu. Basi iwapo utaweza kushiriki katika mazungumzo haya, utaweza kujinyakulia randi 100 za Afrika ya Kusini.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Na sasa tusikie kwa uchache kuhusu habari za Bwana Arnold Nyendwa, mwenye umri wa miaka 23, mjasiriamali wa Zambia. Ni mvumbuzi na mwanzilishi wa Afnon, jiko la stovu nchini Zambia. Yeye alifikiria zaidi kuhusu magonjwa yanayotokana na kutopumua kama vile asma, ambayo inachangiwa pakubwa na kutumia mkaa, mbao na kupika kwa kutumia kuni. Ugawaji wa umeme pia umechangia katika kutengeneza jiko la namna hii ambalo lina kazi 8. Hebu tusikilize habari hii.
So the stove is a 3-in-1 stove powered by LPG gas, electricity and pellets. So it has an energy switch that you can be able to connect it to any of these 3. It's a multifunctional stove for cooking, baking, roasting, warming purposes.
My name is Arnold Nyendwa from Mpokasye, Zambia, and I'm a Freedom Pioneer of Africa.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
I grew up between 3 provinces. That's Eastern Province, Lusaka Province, where you find the capital city, and the Copper Belt Province, where most they produce the copper. Eastern Province is much of a rural setup where we have a lot of farmers doing different crops, but it's kind of also a normal life to find people that they use every day firewood and charcoal for home use as energy. Growing up around that space, it's kind of sounded normal and easy until I started understanding issues to do with climate change, the effects that it had also on the healthy part of women, children. That's the space where I was pushed into and started really seeing that I can provide a solution out of this. Because of the energy deficit we had first in 2015, we had 8 hours of no power until it went up to 18 hours out of 24 hours. So that influenced the combination of all those things. Respiratory problems, climate change, and energy deficit got me into this sector. My stove was my first baby, and it was my breakthrough for everything that is happening now, starting bringing me close to 30 awards around the world. Bringing the momentum of innovation, building a sense of hope for innovation in Zambia, even ending up creating the Ministry of Science and Technology, moving on to influence other parts of Africa continent. Initially, I didn't have money when I was building my first prototype. I asked the school administration, I did a budget that was close about a 1,000 rand. And I asked if they can buy me new materials that I would use for the prototype, because I was also going to use the same project to exhibit it for the National Science Fair. They rejected that offer, and they said, I think we can't finance that. But I had to find a solution out of that. I started looking for some damped materials for odd metal scrap, got them, washed them, and started cutting them and started building the whole prototype. And that was the first process of the whole prototype until it took me completely for about a month. I did the provincial exhibition. It got first prize until the national fair also got the first prize. I was also looking at the challenges that come with cooking, because you have to prepare your meal and different places have different needs of energy. It's not everyone who can want to use electricity at that particular moment, but you have to spend a lot of money to buy something that uses charcoal, that's solid fuel separately, something that uses gas separately, that's something that uses electricity separately. I think it becomes expensive. That's also what inspired me to say, why can't I put everything in one and build a stove that would use everything? So now that's what we've built, a 3-in-1 that uses gas, electricity, and solid fuel just on one product, to cut also on costs and also to have a business that is authentic and sustainable.
With the sales volume, so far we're having orders within the range of 1,000, going up, because this is the year that we just launched, and we are looking at expanding our portfolio to close to 10,000 sales volume, like in a space of 2 months or so.
I think one of the greatest challenges is being young itself. There's a lot of underestimation. There's always an expectation that you can only deliver certain things based on your age or based on your experience. So no matter how good you are, society is very hard to really buy in, more especially the case of Africa. It's different with the Western side. The big challenge also was how to get the product validated out there and to get the right people on track so that we deliver what we're supposed to deliver. It's been a long process and it has some journey. I'm happy to say within a few months, we'll be releasing products that we have built in between, not only this, but in line almost with the same climate-related project here in Zambia. But I'm seeing it around Africa, and I'm seeing it crossing over outside to the other parts of the world. I'm seeing a lot of international partnerships coming on board. It's going to be a global commodity in years.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Basi kama tulivyoweza kukusikia habari za Bwana Edwin Nyendwa, unaweza kunyakulia randi 100 kwa kushiriki katika majadiliano kwa njia ya simu kuhusu mada hii. Na sasa tumsikilize Global Connector katika mahojiano baina ya Changemaker na Global Connector. Changemaker ni Bwana Arnold na Global Connector ni Bianca. Tuambie, unafikiria nini? Unafikiri kuwa Arnold anaweza kufaulu katika ubunifu wake? Tumetayarisha majadiliano kati ya Global Connector Bianca Proterius. Kocha wetu anampa shauri kuhusu teknolojia, kidijiti na ubunifu. Hebu tuone Bianca atafanya nini kumwelekeza Arnold na Afnon kuelekea kwenye mafanikio makubwa.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Hello.
Hi, Arnold. This is Bianca Pretorius calling from Germany. I'm a startup pitch coach. Am I right in understanding that you built kind of the global first stainless steel stove that is able to solve basically 2 problems at one point, which is free people from all the respiratory diseases that comes when you cook under fire, under charcoal, and also your innovative stove can use 3 different sources of energy. So yes, electricity to clean, but if there's no electricity, they can also use gas. And if they want to, they can also use fuel. Is that correct? How crazy interesting is that?
Hi, Bianca. Yes, that's definitely what we are doing at Afnon here in Zambia.
The reason why I loved your invention is basically because you're solving multiple problems, and therefore there's a really realistic way that your product could be hitting the market big time. And so there's plenty of different cooking ways out there, but many of them are really bad for your health because you breathe in all this this dark air, basically. And at the same time, the globe is going through this energy transition. So we're trying to get rid of basically dirty energy and trying to electrify things and solar. But on the way on this path, it's always sometimes there's no electricity, sometimes there's this. And so even if I'm not suffering from respiratory disease, I would still have an incentive to buy that product. How was it to talk to your first customers? Would they make the change? Did they even agree that they have a problem? How was that difficult bit of your entrepreneurial journey?
Well, Bianca, it's always been challenging to be validated by a customer because there's this language in business. They say the customer is always right. In my first setup, I had to realize that there was much need for us to really listen to our customers. We did get some good feedback, and both positive and negative, which all of it really helped us to be where we are today. But one of the things that we learned from our customers is that different customers had different needs. Some, for instance, in some examples would say, why can't you make it a little bit bigger because we want it in different sizes? Others would say, I feel this is too big for my home. I needed something which is a bit small. I need something for my farm. Can you make it too big? Can you make them 4 in one? So ideas don't come out fully formed. As an entrepreneur, that's the way you also build your product based on the feedback, but how best you use it for your advantage.
Do you want to talk about the hard things of doing hardware? How was this creation of getting to the final product that you would say now, yes, this could go to mass production?
Okay, on the hardware side, it's interesting sometimes how you can be a creator or an inventor in the space of products, and you feel like everything is complete, but you realize that again you need multiple team involvements of engineers, assessments, and to review products and be able again at the same time after you have created, be able to criticize your product and being able to understand, to say, I don't think this is good. You have to put yourself back again in the space of, if you're a customer, not to fall in love completely with your product. So I think that was interesting also part, apart from the reviews we got, but also you have to put yourself in the space that you are the client there. So, and I also learned to multitask with different teams from different places and different parts of the world and connect with new people, make new relationships, new partnerships. So I think that was also an interesting part around it.
If there's any advice that I would give to you, because I think you're already on a great track, is to use that sweet spot, that moment, that momentum of having all these names being in your favor. Call people that you should ask for specific intros to people that you can then jump on a Zoom call for like 20 minutes. If I want to do takeaways from our conversation, that to the people that listen to this episode today, one thing that really stuck with me is to hear how you proved that you have traction from the very beginning. But you talked to customer very early and you knew they had the problem of having the respiratory diseases, which leads me to the second point, because you, as an entrepreneur, people want to become an entrepreneur because it's popular, because it's cool, because it's like fancy to be a business person. But actually, there's a simple rule in entrepreneurship, which is if you don't solve a problem, you don't do anything. And so what was really interesting with your work is that you solved a problem on 2 levels. A, on a personal level. So people felt, yes, I have this problem. My health, my voice, my throat gets worse from cooking. I can't stop cooking because I have to eat. And so you solve that problem. And on the other hand, solve the problem that is so big that some people aren't even aware that they could or should deal with it, which is the climate catastrophe. So this is very interesting. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us. I am sure we will hear lots about you, and I can't wait for that day.
Thank you, Bianca.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.
Tunamshukuru Changemaker Arnold Nyendwa na Global Connector Bianca Pretorius. Kama tulivyosema, unaweza kutupigia simu ili uweze kujinyakulia randi 100 taslimu kwa ushiriki wako. Kwa kushiriki majadiliano yetu kwa njia ya simu, kwa kupiga simu namba 0622562231. Unaweza kushiriki mazungumzo haya kwa kupiga simu kwa namba 0622562231. Na sasa turudi katika majadiliano yetu ambayo shirika la Aish limetuletea. Unafikiria nini kuhusu ubunifu wa Arnold? Unafikiri kuwa wazo lake muhimu? Unaamini kuwa unaweza kuwa nafuu kwa wananchi wa Zambia vijijini? Una mawazo gani mengine unafikiri yanaweza kukutatua tatizo hili katika jamii yako? Ni tofauti gani na ubunifu uliopo katika jamii yako? Unafikiria chochote ambacho jamii yako inahitaji katika kutatua? Vile vile unaweza kutuma voice note ili uweze kujinyakulia randi 750 kila wiki. Anza na +27636278997. Nitarudia, anza na +27636278997 ukielezea mada husika. Asanteni kwa kutusikiliza. Kukuletea hayo ulikuwa ni mimi mtangazaji wako Edwin Mpokasye, nikisema kwa heri. It was me, your presenter, Edwin Mpokasye, says bye bye until next week.
Freedom Pioneers of Africa.